All right, everyone. Welcome to Coach Connect Hub. Thank you for being here. It's Tuesday, July 9th. And Angie, since I attended your session in May, I keep telling everyone I couldn't wait till you did this session here in Coach Connect Hub because I took your tips to heart, what you taught us in May. And I'm still not as good as you. I still watch your posts and I'm like, oh my goodness, she's got such amazing engagement. So Angie, thank you so much for doing this and take it away, my friend.
And I think Sam froze.
All right, go for it, Angie. Go for it.
Okay. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Angie Carlson, owner of Carlson Financial Coaching. I joined Alignable back in May 2022 and really had no idea what in the heck I signed myself up for. And the reason I joined Alignable was just like most of you, I wanted to network, I wanted to meet people. And what I did was, unbeknownst to me as a financial coach, not a marketer, is I grew my Alignable rapidly to 10 million views in 16 months, which still blows my mind to have that come out of my mouth. I would drop questions in groups and I will get 100 comments, 500 comments. And I was just like, whoa, how, like, because I didn't know anybody else on Alignable who was doing that. And so what I decided to put together was basically my presentation. That's basically the how-to manual of growing your Alignable from basically nothing to a machine where you're just meeting people all the time. So the presentation I'm showing you all today is my freebie that I give to anybody on Alignable who wants a copy. So at the end of the event, if this is something that you want, send me a connection request in Alignable. And then after we do one exchange, I'll be able to attach it in your messages so that you have this presentation to reference to on your entire Alignable journey. And I call this the presentation I wish I had when I joined Alignable. So with that being said, I am going to share my screen and we're going to get this started. And let me get the slideshow option up here. All right. So basically what we're going to go over today is basically what I do just for the context so that you can see what I do in relationship to the questions I ask and how I build my business. And then basically how I've taken my Smart Connects and have turned some of those conversations into clients from Alignable. And I know Sam has Smart Connects in this group. So if you haven't gone to one, please go. They are great for meeting good quality people. And then also my Alignable statistics, including the screen print that proves you that I've reached the 10 million. So this post is just a little bit about what I do is as a financial coach, I just help couples who have a great relationship, and money communication is just that last thing that needs some work. And so that's what I do, but you're going to see here very quickly that how I use my Alignable is not necessarily related to this, because Alignable is about getting to know the person, not necessarily everything that I do. And I have a strategy that I use, which I will be sharing, that kind of walks you through the fine line of kind of when do I share about me and when do I share what I do. So once again, this girl is not a marketer. Do not ask me for marketing advice because most of it I do not know. But what I do know is that I've been showing up and serving powerfully, and that's resulted in me getting a lot of attention and exposure on Alignable, including being this last year one of Alignable's top 25 business networkers on the platform. And I hear all the time, Angie, I just love what you do. I love your energy. You're the same person in a meeting as I see in your post, as I see in the Smart Connect. And people are really craving that authenticity, especially when we're in a world of chat GPT and automation and people feel like a number. They don't want to feel like a number when they get introduced to somebody. So my relationship building has had 5 different parts, and I will touch on all of them briefly. So we'll go ahead and get started with the Smart Connects. And so my goal initially was to join 2 per month. One was in a really small group. So like Coach Connect would probably be a smaller group. Sam, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but like I would go to one in like a Coach Connect and then one in like a woman solopreneur, ask SMB owners anything, or these other large groups on Alignable. And so what that allowed me to do was kind of build a core referral network of people that I got to see regularly to really develop those relationships, and also go to one that allows me to keep expanding my network again and again and again. So I just found for me that strategy works really, really well. And so then another thing I would do to amplify the people I would meet is I would scroll after the Smart Connect ended to see who attended and find one more person that I didn't chat with and reach out to them. And so I would just reach out, I would send a connection request and start my message like, hey, Angie, I saw that you and I were both on the Smart Connect Monday night. Really bummed I didn't get a chance to connect with you, because I really think there's potential for us to really get to know each other and see where it leads. Are you open to having a virtual chat? Now, how many of you, if you got that message as an intro, would be like, holy crap, I want to meet this person? Why are all your hands not up in the air? There we go. I say, everyone on the call should want to meet this person, right? Perfect. I mean, because think about how you get these introductions. Most of them are blank. I don't know what people are connecting with me for. Let me know how you find me. Why did you come into my world? How can I help you? When you send me a blank message, are you a bot? Are you spam? I don't know. It's a lot of work to figure out. And I get that it's awkward to start that conversation with some random stranger on the internet, but it's really more awkward to be like, wow, this person's going to look at me like I don't really care about them. So I would rather take the risk of saying something awkward, at least introduce myself, than just send a blank message. And so responding to posts, and if you have your hand raised, you can lower it in case I ask you to raise them again. You definitely want to be active on Alignable. So what I mean by active is, are you participating in conversations? Are you commenting on posts? Are you posting? Because for me to use a connection credit, I look for recent activity, because our connection credits are precious, and when you use them, you do not get them back. So you want to use them on people who are actually going to accept them. And so always look for active and recent activity, see how the conversation progresses, and we focus on serving, not selling. So one of the things you'll notice today about my presentation is that first slide that I showed you is one of the few times I mentioned today what I do, because honestly, you guys really don't care about what I do. You care about how to build your business on Alignable, and that's what we're going to focus on. So one of the ways that I have built relationships on Alignable is I have tagged people in my network that I know and trust if they can solve somebody's problem. So here's an example of my insurance referral partner that it must have been a post on insurance. And I was like, hey, you've had this problem, and this is how Steve helped me with mine. I know he can help you too. And let people know, like, oh, there's this person on Alignable that someone else is vetting. Because how good would you guys feel knowing that your network is tagging you in posts to say, hey, you should come work with me? Wouldn't that be amazing? And then another one is just responding to posts with value without sales. So I have a post here that basically was someone had posted about how to learn basically everything I'm doing right now. And so I just responded, it's like, hey, I'm hosting an event. Would you like an invite? I didn't spam her with the registration link. I didn't say you must come to it. I just was like, hey, here's an option for you to grow your network. Do you want to take advantage of it or not? And once again, I do posts that choose to focus on others. So with relationship building, you'll see that these two posts got a lot of comments. What's your business and why did you choose to start it? And what problem does your business solve? I.e., this has nothing to do with what I do. This is asking me how everyone else serves others. Because how much would you guys love to answer these questions? You get a chance to promote yourself. People get to see what you do. Of course, everyone's going to answer this question. This is what we're looking for. And it focuses on others and not myself. And then here's just a couple more examples. I'm in Women's Solopreneur. So it was, what's the moment that led you to be a solopreneur? I have a story later about this Thanksgiving post that's actually quite funny. So I'll save that for them. But like some of my questions aren't even business related, like just getting to know people. And then once again, just other questions of just really being curious about others. Because without my name, not without my business name after my name, you would have no idea what my business was. And once again, just some more posts. And so I'll just scroll through these. You guys are getting the points of the comments. So, I mean, I've had over 40 questions and 4 different groups get over 50 comments. And so that's kind of like my viral on Alignable for groups. And so I really encourage you, if you're posting in groups like Coach Connect, Ask S&B Owners Anything, Women Solopreneur, really think about what information are you posting and the questions I just posted. And I'd be curious if you want to drop it in the chat. What did you notice in the difference between what I just shared with you and what you have been doing? So I'll give you a quick minute to see if anyone wants to jump in the chat, but if I see nothing in 30 to 45 seconds, I'm going to move on. Mine is others focused, very much so. Very much others focused. Because I've learned the more I focus on others, the more curious they get about me. Because who's this weirdo on Alignable who I keep seeing her name everywhere, who asks all these questions and I have no idea what she does. Super powerful. Yep, I encourage them to talk about themselves. And yep, I do respond to posts. But as post, I'll let Sam respond to your question in the chat, Jeremy. She can type your response to that. And then this is just kind of the anatomy of a post. So like I did this post on October 8th, 2022. And after like it was up for an hour, I had 100 comments. And then by Saturday morning, less than 48 hours later, it had 310. 72 hours later, it was at 450. And then it just kept going and going. And so when you get a topic that people like, they will respond. So that's the relationship building part in the group. So now when I do the creating the relationship, I did my best to respond to every comment. I don't do that now because it's a capacity issue. I just can't. But I do my best to try to write a personal response that's tailored to their answer. Like I don't reply to everybody and say, thanks for the like or thanks for replying. I'll reply and be like, awesome. I'm so glad that you shared about X. It seems like that lights you up. Or I appreciate your perspective on this. I never thought of it that way. So because Alignable is focused on networking. And so I am very intentional about making sure my responses are networking focused because I never know where my next client is going to come from. And it might just be that person that I was really kind to who's had a really hard day and has been going through it. That's like, wow, somebody listens and somebody cares and it's a stranger. So that is there too. So. And so basically, just realized the slide has changed a little bit. So basically when you post, I will do posts to like my city and to my connection. So like, depending on where you live, if you live in a major city area, that just allows you to reach thousands of other people without having to connect with them. And so when I post in my city or I post to my network, these posts are very specific on my business because to see these posts, if you're in my network, you have to connect with me. So I operate under the assumption of if you connect with me, you need to know what I do so you know what referrals I'm looking for because we're all about referrals on Alignable. So I'm going to make it very, very easy for you to know who I'm looking for. And now that I have almost 2,500 connections, I don't have the time or the capacity to reach out to every single person anymore. So I do my best to use these posts to update them. And these posts, while they're more specific to what I do, I try to mix in my personality, financial tips, subtle calls to action, and just really do the whole package. So when you're posting to your network, these are connections that can learn more about what you're looking for, or I let them know how your business is doing. You'll see here how I have it highlighted in yellow that says sharing with your network. Those posts, that's how you know your post is going to those that you have connected with. So if you have 60 connections, your 60 connections are going to see it. And so I just have some examples of what I post to my network. They're very different style of questions. So I have one of a client win. I have tired of not knowing your financial stuff. I have a little one-liner that's kind of in your face. And then there's also a different way to post in your city. And so you might have to tweak the header a little bit. Alignable does not like it when you copy the same post and put it in different groups. But I might tweak the headline by saying client win instead of saying client win. I would probably start it with $175,000 of debt gone, just so that the Alignable behind the scenes algorithm isn't like deleting me for doing the same post. So, and these people that see these posts are anyone who lives in your city. So these are people you may not be connected to, but Alignable will push this content out in their emails. They will promote it. You will be connected to people who you aren't connected to. So it's just another way to amplify what you're doing. And then you want to do posts with an impact. So here's an example of someone who actually, Allison invited me to do this first. And the reason we're all here today is that we connected after we talked on this, and she was like, hey, come do this presentation. And then kind of to Sam's point, I just started doing it and other group posts started showing up, and then everyone kept asking me to do it. So, but when others are sharing that, it builds up my credibility and my trust. And it's not just a random Alignable user just saying stuff to get people to listen to her. Like, I've actually walked this talk. So virtual chats are huge. I have done over 300 of them so far with people on Alignable. And I never assume anything because the most unlikely connections have actually been my best source of referrals. So for me, I'm a financial coach, but I've sent referrals to a voiceover actor. I've connected psychics, just worlds I'm not in. That just because I've had the conversation, when it comes up, it's like, well, I know that you need to have a conversation with so-and-so, and I'll connect you to them. And so I've received great leads and clients from those who don't look like a fit on paper. So just really keep an open mind, because we never know who knows our ideal client. And this is my process of how I turned a Smart Connect into a client. So that is where you're matched in the room for 7 minutes. We decided after that time to continue the conversation, became referral partners, just continued our referral relationship. But 2 months later, she reached out. She's like, do you think you can help me and my husband with our finances? And then they ended up signing as a client, and we worked together for a period of time, and they had great results. And then this is just some Alignable statistics showing I got to the 10 million. And this is formally the end, but before I end that, I'm going to go back to the American Thanksgiving post and share that story about why you want to show up with a sense of humor on Alignable. Let me find that quick. Okay, so with the American Thanksgiving post, this is a good way to show your personality on Alignable, because people were responding with standard things like mashed potatoes, turkey, green beans. And I also had people respond with, I can help you build a website. Please book your 15-minute call here. Something clearly not related to Thanksgiving at all. Normally, I would be upset with these people, but what I did instead was I decided to have a little fun with them, and I replied to them all, thanking them for bringing my spam to Thanksgiving. And it turned into a thing, y'all. Like, I was just doing it because I thought it was funny. I thought it was appropriate. It was truthful. But I had people connecting with me that were like, thank you for calling out the spammers. Are you sure you need to invite them to Thanksgiving? I probably had 40 people connect with me over this, like totally not business related, not trying to like make it a big deal, but because I showed up with her personality, people were like, you seem really fun. Like, if we had to talk with somebody on money, we want somebody who's fun. And so don't be afraid to show your personality. And then Carrie, your question, by virtual chats, you mean one-to-one virtual meetings or one-to-many virtual meetings? I did one-to-one, but I mean, you could do one-to-many. That might be effective for you. So that is what I had for today with the presentation. And if the presentation is something you want, whether you're watching the recording or you're here live, just connect with me on Alignable. It's Angie Carlson, Carlson Financial Coaching, Dubuque, Iowa, and just let me know that you watched this presentation in the Coach Connect Hub. And then I will get you the copy of this presentation so you have it by your side as you're working on your post, as you are talking in Alignable. And that way, this will help you grow your business, because you never know, you might use this and turn into a top 25 business networker too.